So what do you do? The question that fills people with dread when they walk into a room at a networking meeting. If you're like me, then that used to be the case. I don't know about you, but I juggle lots of different things, and so I have to think really carefully about what I'm going to share when I'm going into a networking group, as in what's the best thing I can use today to help people, or to make the initial introduction, to make me stand out so they can understand how I can help them. Be scroll stopping and stand out, and that's why we use pictures and images. And this is a picture of my gorgeous dog, Millie. Millie is a border terrier, and this was the day after we lost her mum. And you can see the sadness in her face, and she really was sad. And it took a few weeks for her to get over that and become her normal bouncy self. And it was really interesting to watch the emotion that she displayed at the loss. And I think it's emotions that grab us, isn't it? And that's so when we're talking to people, when we're listening to people, it really is all about how we feel. So how do you become scroll stopping? Great question, isn't it? How long do you think you have to grab someone's attention? So at the moment, we're talking about walking into a networking room where you're meeting people face to face, or maybe it's in an online Zoom meeting, you're meeting face to face. So how long have you got? You've got between 7 and 10 seconds to say something that is going to create a lasting impression. And once you've created that lasting impression, that person is going to stay and talk to you longer. They're probably going to come back to you and ask more questions, because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So seven seconds isn't very long. And if you think about, most people start their introductions by saying, "My name is Wendy Snedden." So there's 3 or 4 seconds gone already. So it's really about thinking about what can you say in that first 7 seconds that's going to make someone go, oh, okay, yeah, I want to know more about what this person's got to say. And just remembering that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's a famous quote by the lovely Maya Angelou. So me, I'm helping to end abuse against animals and humans through raising awareness of the link and creating spaces where families fleeing violence can stay together with their pets. And I went in to learn about property development in order to be able to facilitate projects that could deliver that. And that's what I'm kind of working on just now. So I've done quite a bit of work in the past around raising awareness of the link, and I've done a TED talk on it. And now I'm focusing on, right, how do we support those families who are fleeing domestic violence? Because often they stay in violent situations longer because they can't take their pets with them. And pets are also very much affected by domestic violence, and that's what my TEDx talk's all about. I'm helping to end homelessness through bringing empty properties back into use. And so depending on the networks I'm going to will depend on which one of these introductions that I use. I'm also helping people to create memorable introductions so they don't bore the pants off people. And that's what this is about. This is about learning how to grab people's attention by really kind of saying about what results you're going to get for them or for the world or for other people, and make you stand out from everybody else. So I invest in properties and businesses, and I have a number of different companies doing a number of different things, which means I'm wearing lots of different hats. And so I really have to think carefully about who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. And I love sharing. So I have learned over the years to become more confident about standing up and speaking about who I am and what I do and how I can help people. And I got an opportunity. My first speaking opportunity was in 2016, and I got to speak on stage at BAFTA in London, and I spoke in front of 300 people. And it was terrifying, but it was also exhilarating at the same time. I then got the opportunity to do the TEDx talk a few years later. And now any opportunity to share my message and stand up and speak to people, I will say yes to. But it wasn't always the case. I used to be absolutely terrified of presenting, and I would run a mile if anyone said, "Can you stand up here and do that?" And I think it goes back to having my confidence dented at various points throughout my career. And when I look back, it was, when you're working for other people, their opinions and their biases, and they kind of shape how you become. And so imposter syndrome kicked in quite early in my career, and it stayed with me for a long time. I think I always used to just be so amazed when I got a job. I'd be like, wow, I'm so lucky that they've taken me on. I'm so lucky that they've given me a job. And that was my kind of attitude. Whereas actually, they were fucking lucky to have me, is the reality of it. And that's been a real step change in how I think about things, and what has given me the confidence to step out, become self-employed, do my own thing, and be able to stand up and talk about it. Like everybody, I've had successes and failures throughout my career, and I'm still here to tell the tale. Just. And this is my why. This is my gorgeous family that I do everything for. Also, I thought, because when we started the property journey, it was all about building a company, creating a legacy that they could one day inherit and take on. But the reality is, they've got their own careers and their own lives. They're not really interested in what I'm doing. So this is the only person here who matters. And that's now what I'm doing, everything I'm doing for. To be a role model, to create a life where we can do things that we want to do, and we can also all spend time together, and then we can also enjoy and help other people. Because let's face it, if you don't have anything yourself, or you don't look after yourself, then you won't be able to help anybody else. It's a bit like being on an aeroplane, where they ask you to put your oxygen mask on first, because, and the reason they do that is because if you were to put the oxygen mask on the person sitting next to you or your child, you're saving them to watch you die, because it takes about 5 seconds to suffocate from lack of oxygen. So save yourself first, and then you can help other people, is the message. So who are you? Who are you? Well, you are your name, aren't you? So I'm Wendy Snedden. Well, it's pretty straightforward. We know that, don't we? And yeah, you can go into deeper a bit more about that if you want. But essentially, when you're making an introduction, there is a part of it where you're going to introduce yourself with your name. Who do you serve? And this is one of the biggest challenges business owners have, is really thinking about who they serve and really narrowing down to which customer they're going to speak to. Because at the end of the day, you may have a product or a service that is of interest to a wide variety of different people. But if you try and market that to people, that message is going to get lost. Because when you're marketing to people, you need to be speaking directly to them. So if your product is suitable for 20-year-old female, then you need to be thinking like a 20-year-old female. Where do they hang out? What do they do? What do they read? What sorts of things do they enjoy? And if your product is also suitable for 60-year-old men, can you imagine would that 60-year-old man be necessarily interested in the things that you're talking to the 20-year-old about? Probably not. So if you're going to be speaking to a 60-year-old man, then the messages are going to be different. You're going to be thinking about where he hangs out, what he listens to, what social media channels does he follow. Once you've got lots of your 60-year-old men in your group, if that's what you've gone for, then that's fine. You can go for another market. You can run some different ads and test things. But it's about focusing and really being able to support a particular group of clients. And by understanding who they are, your message can become much clearer and you're much more likely to attract people to you as a result of that. What do they need and what do they want? And do you know that? If you don't, then ask them. Ask people who you're already working with or you've worked with in the past. What is it that they need and want from you? Because then you can tailor your support to really help them. So instead of it being about you delivering what you know, you're actually turning what you know into something that they want and need. And that way you can really add value and help them. What results will they get when they work with you? So what is the outcome? You know, if you're a business coach, are you able to, by teaching them something, are you able to double their profits? Are you, what kind of transformation will they get when they work with you? So really think about that, because that becomes the hook that you start with to get people really interested in staying to listen to more or coming back to work with you. So a little bit of a digression. What is the lifetime value of a customer to you? So I want you to just spend a few minutes thinking about how much, on average, does a customer spend with you? So if you are a business coach with a membership club, then what is the monthly membership fee or annual fee? And then how many months are they likely to stay with you for? So how often do they buy? So if it's, I don't know, if it's £100 every month, how long are they going to stay with you? Well, maybe on average they stay for 2 years. So it's £100 times 12. And if it's 2 years, times 2 years, if that makes sense. So we're looking at about, say 2,400, I think that would come to, wouldn't it? So what is the value to you of a customer? So if someone was to walk in your door tomorrow, how much are they likely to spend with you over the time that they're with you? Back to our memorable introductions. So I want you to think about, when you are crafting your pitch, start with how people transform after working with you. What happens to the wider world when people engage with you? That's the hook that's going to get people interested. Then you can tell them what you do. Then you can tell them who you do it for. Then you can talk about what results they'll get with working with you. Then you can tell them your name and your business name. So if you can start to craft your pitch in that way, you'll find that you start attracting people to you, the right people to you. So if you really want people to get you, then write a book. So here we have some copies of the books I've written. So I'm in 5 books. I've self-published books of my own, and I've written chapters in books. And I was also commissioned to write a book for the veterinary profession through a publisher, which is nice. And so when these books get sold, then I get royalties from the one that came from the publisher. And these books are sold on Amazon. So Amazon take care of the postage, the packing, and they also take care of the printing of the book. And then I get what's left at the end of that. And what you get then depends what you sell the book for, how many pages it is, etc., etc. So writing a book is what will really help you to understand what get people to really understand what you do and how you do it. Back to Millie. It's all about standing out and grabbing people's attention. And let's face it, cute dog pics always work. I think when I look at Facebook posts and LinkedIn posts, it's the ones with Millie in it that get the most interest. So, what problems can a business book solve for you? So one of the first issues might be that perhaps you've got lack of credibility. Maybe you've not been working for yourself for very long, and so people don't really know about you. They don't know what you can do. So if you're struggling to get people to see you as the expert in your field, this is where a book can change everything. I mean, just think about it. When someone is introduced to you as the author of, it instantly adds weight to their authority. So your book becomes a tangible representation of your knowledge and experience. I mean, imagine being a hairstylist and handling potential clients, your book, The Secrets to Amazing Hair. So now not only do you position yourself as an expert, but you also give them a reason to trust you even before they've met you. Visibility can be a big problem. It can be really hard to stand out in today's crowded market. This is where a book gives you a unique edge. It's not just content, it's a credential. It opens up doors to speaking engagements, podcast interviews, and media features. And people are much more likely to Google your name, and guess what they'll find? Your book right at the top. Lead generation, that can be a big challenge, can't it, for a lot of business owners. So guess what? You can use the book to help you generate leads. It can be the ultimate business card. So when you're going to network meetings, you can introduce yourself and you can say, here's a copy of my book. If you get talking to someone and you think this is someone I'd like to work with, you can offer your book as a free download in a funnel where people then, in exchange for the email address, they will get a copy of your book. You might charge them a nominal fee to cover package and posting. And if you were doing that, you would probably purchase a number of books. So for instance, when I was doing this, I bought 100 books because I can buy them a bit cheaper from Amazon. And I used those in a book funnel to attract people. And even selling on Amazon also becomes a way of attracting leads, because people who are searching the subject that you've written about will come across your book and they're more likely to buy it and then, of course, potentially engage with you, especially if inside the book there's a bit of information about how people can work with you if they want to do more. Differentiation. So if you're in a really competitive industry like real estate or coaching, then standing out can really feel impossible. And again, a book really differentiates you. It says, I'm not just another accountant, I'm a thought leader in my space. And this will not only attract clients, but can also justify a premium pricing for your services. And finally, let's talk about connection. A book allows you to tell your story, share parts of your journey, and provide immense value. Readers will really get to know you on a deeper level, and that in turn will help to build trust. And trust is what turns readers into loyal clients. When someone reads about what you went through, if they've gone through something similar, that connection is really strengthened. And so by being open and candid about some of the things that you've been through that have got you to where you are today, being really upfront and honest about them can be really powerful. So have you got a book in you? And are you wondering, is writing a business book is worth it? Then the answer is yes. It solves many problems, from building credibility to generating leads, creating lasting connections with your audience. So if you want to know more about it, then get in touch. So for those of you that are interested in taking it further and actually writing and publishing your book, I'm going to go into a little bit of information about what's involved in that process, because a lot of people think it's very complicated and they really put off even trying to understand how to do it. So I'm here to make it really simple. So if you want to write a book, there's a few things that we're going to do. We're going to build vision and structure. So really going to think about who the book is for. And then we're going to think about the title. We're going to think about the subtitle. We're going to make sure that they're optimized so that when people are searching for the subject that you're talking about, it'll show up, it'll rank high. And then we're going to look at the chapter titles and then how each of those chapters might pan out for you. O is for organizing your time, because it's really important, if you commit to writing a book, that you set aside some time to deliver it. We're now talking about this as being a significant marketing tool for your business. So it deserves that kind of priority that you would give an important task. This is a money-making task. By writing your book, you're going to get more clients as well as book sales. O is also for being open and honest. So by sharing some of your personal experiences and being honest about your business journey to really help people, it's likely to be much more successful. And K is for keeping on track to complete. So we're going to set that schedule, and then it's really important to commit to delivering and complete. And one of the things we do right at the beginning is the first thing we do is we create a book cover for you, and we put the title on it and the subtitle. We'll create a graphic that shows it as a book, and we really encourage you to share that with your networks as a kind of look what's coming soon. You know, you will introduce yourself. You will say, I am the author of this book. And that starts to make it feel real. And then it also helps people to know what's coming and want to know more about it. We can build up a waiting list. We can look at pre-sale campaigns and things like that. So in order to get a book, you need to become an author. And so we've got a bit of a step-by-step guide. So A is for action, and it's really important that you take action. One, you take action to sign up and let me help you. The second step about taking action is that commitment and that time planning. My last book I wrote in 7 days. You could write this book in 7 days if you want. 11 weeks is probably about right. Or maybe you're thinking that's going to be a bit tight. And maybe you might think, well, 6 months is more realistic. So whatever that time frame is for you, we'll set it out, we'll plan your coaching, and we'll book in the date where we're going to work towards to get that manuscript turned into a book, and we'll take it from there. U is for understanding. So it's really important that we understand what it is that we're trying to achieve with the book. What is your purpose for writing the book? What is your why? That's what's going to keep you going throughout the process. And it's what will, you know, when you are that close to giving up, it's just a wee reminder of, well, hang on a minute, this is why we're doing this, and this is why it's really important. T is for title. Title is really important. Title is it's got to do a couple of things. It's got to really grab people's attention. It's got to explain what it's about, and then it's also got to be searchable on Google. So we'll do a bit of work to see how we can combine all three into the title and subtitle. H is for holding it together. So we're going to create this amazing cover. And you can either have a photograph of yourself, or we can design something that reflects what the book's about. It's entirely up to you how we do that. And then we just make sure that we lay it out and we give you the graphic so that you can start sharing it and telling people what you're doing. Then organising. So this comes back to organising your time and making sure that you have allocated enough time over the period of time that you agree that you're going to complete the book. If you sign up with me, then you've got 12 months to do it. But if you want to do it in 3 months, then that's the timescale that we're going to work to. R is for review. So it's for reviewing your progress and where you're at. It's also getting someone to review your content. So I'm not an expert in your industry. And so in terms of what you're writing, you need to find somebody who is from your industry, who understands what you're doing, and you want them to read your content and give you some feedback on what makes sense and things like that. And so you need to find somebody in your industry to help you review, and then you get them to write a review that we can use then as a testimonial. Or maybe you're just going to give them a couple of chapters. And again, we do that to get some reviews. Oh, I've just gone through them all. Then we're going to publish. So the process of publishing, then the book comes to me and we turn it into a manuscript ready for editing. So if you've done each chapter on an individual Word document, which is how I suggest you do it, then I'm going to take all of those. We're going to check for spelling, punctuation, make sure it's in the right format, and then we're going to upload it into the formatting software that turns it into a book, or it turns it into the manuscript, if you like, that we can then upload onto the platforms. So the uniformity is about making sure that we've got the right sizing for the book, for the ebook, and the hardback. Those are the 3 formats that we're going to be doing in this programme. B is about building up your audience's excitement with some tasters. So I've already talked about how we're going to create the graphic, and we're going to get you to start telling people that you are writing this book. You're going to introduce yourself as the author, because once you have started the writing process, then you are an author. And so you're perfectly legitimately able to call yourself that. L is listen. So it's really important, as I said already, get feedback from the industry experts on what you're writing. Make sure that you are incorporating links to your sources and all those kinds of things as well. And then I is for initiate production. So this is where I take the manuscript, load it onto the relevant platforms. Then S is for see it. You're going to get your first copy of your book in your hand, and it is such an exciting moment when you see it. We'll get you to take your book, we'll get you to go through it and make sure that you're happy, that it's printed okay. And then if we need to make any last minute tweaks to it, we can get that done. And then we're going to have a party and celebrate. And then we're going to launch your book to the world. So who do you know that already has a business book? There are lots of people that you'll be aware of, business owners, that have created a book that has helped them to grow their business. So famous one, Tim Ferriss, nearly everyone is aware of the 4-hour work week. And so he wrote this book because he'd created this amazing way to have a work-life balance. And then he's described the process of how to do that in that book. Once you've read the book, then you want to know more. And that's great because he has a community. You can join him. He's done some workshops and he's got other programs to help you really embrace taking on board the 4-hour work week. Gary Vaynerchuk has written lots of books. And again, all the books he's writing are leading you to generate interest to want to work with him and some of the programs that he does. Maria Forleo, there you go. She's got herself on the cover. And again, she uses this as a basis to, this is how I help people. and you read the book, you fall in love with it, and you go, right, I want to do more with her. And off you go to look at what other programs that she has on offer. Same with Seth Godin. Rachel Hollis, Girls Stop Apologising, and one most people will be familiar with, Daniel Priestley, author of The Key Person of Influence. Great book to read because it is all about the things that you could do to help you stand out, and what, again, this book drives you into Daniel's pipeline of other products and services that he offers to help you stand out in your business. So just do it. Just flipping do it. The time to start is right now. Take action, stay focused, and bring your book to life. Next step, let's have a chat and see if this is right for you, and see if it's right that we can work together on it. And then once we've done that, we can take it from there. The how, we've talked already about all the different things that need to happen. If we want to do it in 11 weeks, we're going to do 11 coaching sessions. The first 8 weeks are going to be about producing that manuscript. So if it takes 8 weeks or it takes 8 months, that's entirely on you. Once I have the manuscript ready for uploading, it's going to take me about 3 weeks. So when you start working with me, we're going to set those deadlines. We're going to book in the time for me to deliver that. And then it's over to you to make sure that you can deliver that manuscript in that time, and we'll work together on it. And if the deadline slips, well, we'll address that. But like I say, you have up to 12 months to get that book completed. So if you choose to work with me on the programme, currently the investment is £2,999. As I've said, in the package, we've got 11 coaching sessions, strategy to create your manuscript, book cover design, book graphics for marketing. We'll do an online book launch. If you're close by, then we'll look at doing a physical book launch, or we can help you organise a book launch at somebody else's event. We'll give you 11 copies of your book. If you want more, we can arrange that too. And annual membership to our Authors Club. So once you join me, you're in the Authors Club, and you can network and mix with other authors who are doing the same thing, and we can share experiences. We'll do some group coaching and we'll do some one-to-one coaching. It's about £8,000 worth of services and subscriptions and support. And like I say, you'll get that support for 12 months, but you can do it in 11 weeks. And it's all for just £2,999. So if this is something that you want to do, let's get a call and let's get it done. I'm waiting. I can't wait to help you explore how much a book can really help you. And just lastly, so that investment of £2,999, if you think of it as an acquisition cost to get a client, how much was that figure that you thought of right at the beginning when we talked about the lifetime value of your client? So for the cost of £3,000, you're going to build yourself a marketing resource that's going to help you get how many more clients? How many do you need to make it worthwhile making that investment? And that book becomes your legacy. It's going to be there forever. It'll be there for your kids, for their kids, to know that their parent, their grandparent, great-grandparent was a published author. Anyway, look forward to catching up with you, and I will, I can't wait to get started with you. Bye.